This is WCM's Park Update, a weekly show covering the outdoor hospitality industry, hosted by Ben Quiggle and Mike Gast. During each episode, you'll hear from special guests and campground experts on topics that will help your park flourish. WCM's Park Update is a production of Woodall's Campground magazine.
Hi, I'm Ben Quiggle, editor of Woodall's Campground magazine, and welcome to another edition of WCM's Park Update. Of course, my esteemed colleague Mike Gast is here, former Vice President of Communications with Campgrounds of America. And our guest this week, I should mention our show is sponsored by Bush Tech Safari.
That's important.
Yeah, that's important. We got to make sure to get that.
Yeah.
But our guest this week is Jeff Cavins, co-founder of Outdoorsy, and just a great guy. I know I've met you a couple times at some industry events, and it's great to see you here. Are you guys going to be going back to the glamping show this year? I know you guys were there last year.
We will have a contingent there. I will probably go as well. I was there last year, but there'll be representatives from the company there.
Okay.
So Jeff, I've known you since I guess I knew Jen first, your partner, back in 2014, 2015 when you guys were just getting going. We were just getting going with KOA's camping report, the annual camping report. That was the first edition, and we launched it out in San Francisco. And Jen was nice enough to come over and help us out, and got good exposure for your company there. But things have changed a lot for Outdoorsy since you launched in 2015. And maybe just give a real short synopsis of what Outdoorsy is in general and why it is.
Outdoorsy today is a bit different than it was when we started. When we started, Outdoorsy started as a marketplace, an online marketplace for RV owners to list RVs into a marketplace similar to other internet marketplaces like Airbnb would be a corollary, so that renters or guests could rent RVs and go on vacations and road trips. But since the beginning of the company, we've evolved to add more assets to the business, like an insurance company and a campground business. So we would be what you would describe today as a travel ecosystem, squarely focused into the world of outdoor recreation.
Yeah, and you guys are doing that through various means. I know you guys just announced this Oasis fund, which is a $30 million fund with the goal of helping, people buy safari glamping tents. Just explain a little bit more about what you guys are hoping to do with this fund, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The Oasis fund, we just announced it a couple of days ago. It's a $30 million fund, which means there's $30 million set aside to help entrepreneurs. You imagine there are a lot of entrepreneurs on the Outdoorsy platform. We've had over 300,000 RV listings on the platform, and many people want to elevate their businesses on Outdoorsy from just RVs to tiny homes, cabins, and glamping tents. And our partnership started about a year ago with Bush Tech, who are the sponsors of the show. And we love the product, and we've had a lot of success. We've been buying campgrounds, and some of the campgrounds we're reprogramming with the Bush Tech Safari glamping tent, and they've been sold out, and the customers love them. And we said, why don't we make this available to the customers in the Outdoorsy platform? Let's make it available to all those outdoor hospitality entrepreneurs who want access to the same high quality glamping tents that we have. And sometimes they need help with financing. So with our partners and our investors and our banking partners, we formed a $30 million fund to help finance the purchase of these tents, predominantly focused on Outdoorsy hosts that would put these tents on the Outdoorsy platform and list them through the Outdoorsy marketplace.
So is this the financing? Is this a loan? Is it a payback thing?
Yeah. The fund is not an LP fund, so it's not a venture fund. It is a loan program. And we're working with a variety of banks. We have partnerships with Lead Bank in Kansas City, PacWest Bank in Austin, which you probably may have heard is being acquired by Bank of California. So that relationship elevates to the Bank of California, and Byline Bank out of Chicago. And then, of course, we have the ability to participate in the loan risk with our banking partners for a select group of our best pro hosts on the Outdoorsy platform. And we have pros on the Outdoorsy platform that operate RV fleets that generate millions of dollars a year. And some of these are very, very strong partners of the company. And we want to try to get this new asset class into their hands. And if and when it makes sense, we can participate in some of the loan risk along with our banking partners.
Now, obviously WCM's focused, RV parks, campgrounds, and we do glamping parks. Is this something like a traditional campground owner could take advantage of too? How many traditional campgrounds do you guys have on Outdoorsy?
But we kicked off, the first answer is yes, anybody can participate. In fact, there's no requirement to buy one of these and list it on Outdoorsy. If you want to buy one for your family or your second home, or if you got some land somewhere and you want to build a few of these for your own personal use, you can do that. We don't want to restrict access to anyone. But the focus really was, and always has been, how does Outdoorsy support the entrepreneurs that build their businesses on the Outdoorsy platform? Mm-hmm. We announced recently that we had over $2.5 billion. We're actually starting to now close in on $3 billion in transactions on our platform. That's $3 billion that's going into American households. That's not money that we keep. That's money that goes into the American households. Those people being listers on the Outdoorsy platform, and it's creating a whole new GDP for middle America. And this is just another way of adding an elevated asset, a little bit elevated above the RV. And we know that glamping is very popular with Americans. We know that 10.5 million American households went glamping in 2022. And interestingly, on average, they will stay 3 to 5 nights in a glamping tent, and they will pay a higher nightly rate than a traditional hotel. So they get that kind of that luxury first, nature second experience. Yeah. That whether it's on a beachfront or a mountaintop or a lake or wherever it may be. So you're not in a Marriott hotel or a Hyatt or Hilton, but you get the same experience with the large bed and the large bathroom and the large quarters and the hotel-like accommodations, but basically in the wild.
Yeah.
So somebody that's starting this from scratch, is the program just geared to getting them the equipment they need, or are there other support services that are going to come along with that?
Yeah, these tents ship as a turnkey. One of the things that the Bush Tech guys did really, really well is they negotiated a series of partnerships that we've been able to leverage as well. So now there's these multi-headed partnerships that include not only the canvas, but the framing, all of the furniture that you need, the fixtures, like, toilets and bathtubs and showers and so on, sinks, knobs, and then the equipment you would want, like coffee makers, espresso makers, refrigerators for your, to keep your beverages cold. These tents are climate controlled, which means they have air conditioning and heat. They have lockable front doors, which means you could go on a hiking trip and your wife could leave her purse behind and feel safe. They're multi-layered canvas, which means they have some very unique technology that kind of wicks away things like humidity, heat, and excessive cold, which makes the climate control even that much better inside. And the only thing that you would have to, as a customer, if you buy one of these, you have to build your own stairs. So they come to you on a frame. It's about 4 feet high. You would build your own stair ledgers, and you might want to put skirting around the tent. You could do wood skirting. You could do tin. We have some tents where we've done stacked rock, which I can show you pictures of. It's very beautiful. But as a customer, you get a turnkey system. It is basically glamping in a box. And then we send you a crew. The customer will need to pay the crew. We don't sell the crew. We recommend the crew that can build your deck for you, install your flooring, build your stairs and your skirting, and they also erect your tent and they install your appliances for you, connect them to your water, power, and septic or sewer, if that may be what you have, and they turn it on and your air conditioning systems, and they do it as a turnkey.
Wow. So do you see Outdoorsy ever adding a consulting side to help these new glamping owners with the experience of glamping outside of the facility?
We do have a department in our company called the concierge department, and this is oftentimes dedicated to helping people with their trips, usually guests with their trips. So we'll have people coming to the U.S. from places like Israel, France, Turkey, Japan, and they know they want to see the Grand Canyon or go to Glacier National Park or Yellowstone, but they don't really know how to do it, where to stay, how to plan their trip. So we provide that service for them. On the supply side of our platform, we have what are called listing coaches. And these are your business advisors. They've been focused on RVs, of course, for the last 10 years. And some of the listing coaches have been able to take somebody that started as a peer-to-peer lister, might have been a passive owner of an RV, started with one, and now might have 25 or 30 RVs. We have a young lady in Southern California that started on Outdoorsy in her mid-20s. She was running an ice cream stand. She is now 30 years old. She has, I think, 20 or 21 RVs and has generated over $4 million in revenue for her business.
Wow.
And she did that in partnership with our listing coaches. So our listing coaches will help you with your glamping business. Now, remember, Outdoorsy has a lot of distribution. We have 40 million customers that come through the Outdoorsy platform. We have a lot of customers that we can send into your business, whether it's an RV or a glamping tent. So one of the hardest things about running a business is getting customers. You have to go spend money on Google. Our customers don't have to do that. We connect the demand, which is the guest side of the platform, directly into your business.
So say somebody decides to get 5 of these tents through the new program, and they start a small glamping resort. Can they plug into that database of yours to access some of those customers that haven't decided whether they want an RV or to go glamping?
Yeah, what will happen is when they let's say in that case they put 5 tents on their property, they would list those tents on Outdoorsy, and we would promote those listings. We do a lot of marketing, as you probably know from Jen. We have what we call a 360-degree omni-channel marketing program, and we market a lot internationally. So whether it's social media or it's through search engines, or it's through affiliate partnerships that we have with companies like REI and North Face, Merrell, the hiking shoe company. We typically have more customers than where we can send them. That's almost always the challenge, is the supply constraints of the marketplace. And not everybody wants to be in an RV for 7 days. Even people that will travel in an RV want that one cheat day where the wife says to the husband, I need a larger bathroom to use all my equipment, and I need a king size bed. I need a big long hot shower. And so we're seeing people come into our Colorado property. We reprogrammed our Colorado property with the safari tents, and they've been a huge hit. They've been sold out. And some of the users are coming in an RV, but they want that one cheat day or the 2 cheat days.
You would be surprised how many full-time RVers we run into that need a cheat day every once in a while. Too, they need something different. So I guess, you mentioned Bush Tech Safari as your partner on this. Is there the possibility down the road of expanding the partners? Can you only use this money to finance a Bush Tech Safari tent at the moment, or can they use it for other accommodation units as well?
Today, you could use the money for. Let me back up. If we're going to help underwrite the loan, it would need to be an asset that we know is going to do well on the Outdoorsy platform. Now, if you just wanted to buy a tiny cabin for your home and you don't want anything to do with Outdoorsy, we'll send you to our bankers. Our banks have a lot of appetite for consumer loans and lending. But the focus of the platform, this is what you would call a classic arbitrage opportunity, where we help finance new supply that then gets listed on the Outdoorsy platform, that generates more throughput of the platform and satisfies more guests, so that we can then add more supply. So it's an arbitrage flywheel, and but it's not predicated on the Bush Tech product. We do like the Bush Tech product a lot because we have data that shows that it does very well. It sells very well. Guests love it. And the repeat rates are very high. Guests will book their repeat to come back while they're on their vacation in the tent.
And I would like to note, it was just a coincidence that Bush Tech Safari is the sponsor for our show. And as we head into the commercial break, I just wanted to mention you can also check out these Bush Tech Safari tents at the glamping show, which is coming up at the beginning of October. And I know Outdoorsy is going to have a booth or a presence there to some degree, and it's just a great show for people who are interested in maybe looking at the Bush Tech tent and maybe even learning more about Outdoorsy. So we're going to take a short break, and we will be back with Jeff here in a few minutes.
No, ma'am. This is a 5-star establishment. We do not have tents.
Another one.
Another one.
With bespoke modern design, state-of-the-art craftsmanship, and only the finest quality materials, Bushtec Safari manufactures tents that take luxury to the next level. A true combination of 5-star luxury and a 5 billion star experience.
Tents.
Better, best, Bushtec.
Hi, welcome back to WCM's Park Update, and our guest today is Jeff Cavins, co-founder and CEO of Outdoorsy, and we talked a little bit at the beginning of this episode about their new Oasis fund and their partnership with Bushtec Safari. I just wanted to start a little bit after the break here and talk. I did not realize that you guys owned a couple parks or glampgrounds or campgrounds, whatever you want to call them. I know you have one in Bayfield, Colorado, and one near Yosemite. And I believe before the show started, you mentioned maybe a third one is in the works too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. We bought Bass Lake Yosemite, and it's now rebranded Outdoorsy Yosemite. It's about 15 miles from the southern entrance of Yosemite National Park. It's right on Bass Lake. If you ever see the movie The Great Outdoors with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd, it was filmed at our property.
Wow.
We also acquired a property in Bayfield, Colorado. It's called Outdoorsy Bayfield. It's right in between, somewhat equidistant between Durango and Pagosa Springs. It's probably one of the most beautiful RV parks I've ever seen. It is full of trout-stocked fly fishing rivers flowing right by your RV. Ponds, creeks, rivers. It's beautiful. It's the Los Pinos River that feeds the San Juan, which is a champion class fly fishing river. And we sit right on the tributaries that feed the San Juan. So it's beautiful. It looks almost like the greens at Augusta. And then we are developing a glamping resort using the Bushtec product. These are the large Bushtec ones. These are the 2-suite, very large master or primary bathroom suites, primary suite for sleeping, and then living rooms. We're building this property just adjacent to Fredericksburg, Texas, on the Wine Trail. And that will be a glamping retreat, so there won't be RV hookups. Actually, we're installing EV charging stations at the property because a lot of that type of demographic and customer base will tend to be Tesla owners or Rivian owners.
So our audience for this, of course, is a lot of campground owners and managers, and they're going to want to know, what can you get a night for a Bushtec product like that?
The larger ones, you can get up to $1,500 a night. The eclipse, which is the big solar eclipse, the total eclipse, it comes over to the United States on April 8th of 2024. By happenstance, the solar eclipse happens right above our property. And there are some crazy rates. I think Airbnb is getting $29,000 a night in Fredericksburg right now. And they're not even underneath the eclipse. I mean, they're adjacent to it. We're sitting right underneath. So we are going to market the property to corporations to take over the whole property. We'd love to see Elon Musk and the SpaceX team take it. For that, I think they probably would be one of the more interested because of the element of a total solar eclipse. But you can get up to Under Canvas would be a good example. Under Canvas does a great job of siting their properties. Yeah, they've got Glacier, Paradise Valley, they've got Maine, they've got Mount Rushmore. You can get up to $1,500 a night if you have the right place at the right time. So, for example, there's properties in Zion that'll get that kind of price. But on average, our prices run about $450 a night. I think one of the larger ones you should be able to expect between $450 and $650 a night. In the Bayfield property, these are the smaller tents. So these are the single room with the bathroom in the back. These tents are getting about $225 to $250 a night, but they're sold out. And your guests are staying 3 to 6 nights, which is a surprise because a typical hotel stay is going to be about half that.
And what's the range of prices on the products that people can buy out of the program?
You'll be surprised. The ranges are actually pretty narrow. It'll cost around $100,000 to buy one of these tents. So a lot cheaper than a typical RV. There's no gas or oil to deal with. About $100,000, and that comes with all the furniture, fixture, and equipment. The furniture, fixture, and equipment. And what you'll need to do is have a crew. Now, some people, if they're handy, if you're a handyman, or you understand a little bit about construction, you could do your own. We give you instructions on how to install the tent. It's actually relatively simple and straightforward. We've done things with our tents like the skirting, is pretty dressy. The railings are dressy. We've done really large grand staircases that, bring you from the land, and we do fire pits in front of the tent. But I would think that the typical user, if they want to hire we have two crews that we recommend that are experts at building these. They're going to charge you about $12,000, and then you would need the material. And that's installing. They'll put your bed together. They'll install your toilet, your air conditioning system. They will turnkey this thing for you. So you're going to spend about $100,000 on the system, the package, probably about $12K on the turnkey installation, which should include skirting and decking, and stairs, flooring, skirting, and then the installation of all the FF&E.
Back to the parks. So you have the two parks, the one you're developing. Why did you guys decide to, acquire the Bayfield and the Yosemite location and develop this one? Was that part of your plan all along? As you expand what Outdoorsy is doing, I guess.
That's right. When Jen and I started the company with Tyler and Ryan, there's 4 founders in the company. We had Jen's idea. She said, let's buy an RV and let's travel America and let's learn this business. So we spent 7.5 months on the road. You might know the story, but we lived on the road for 7.5 months. And during COVID, we did it again for another 3 months. So we've spent close to a year living in RV parks. And one of the things that we noticed is that American travelers want a consistency of quality that they expect when they go get coffee. That's what Starbucks did for us. Or when they go get a bite to eat or a hamburger. That's kind of what McDonald's and companies like that have done. And we said a lot of the campgrounds typically don't offer things that everybody wants. Like most campgrounds don't have a business center. If I'm working while I'm on the road, I might need to do printing and scanning and faxing, things like that, FedEx delivery. I need really good Wi-Fi. I might want to have a lodge bar where I go to that I can enjoy watching the game and having a cocktail with all the people that I meet at the park. Similar to the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville concept. Every one of the properties has a bar.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, what we want to do is we want to bring digital innovation to campgrounds that we purchase. Our plan is to buy up to 500 campgrounds. And we have financing partners that are backing us for this. Now, we've started with 3, and we're trying to templatize a few things here. One is we apply for a liquor license immediately when we buy a property. So we can sell beer and wine and ice. We can also serve you cocktails in the bar tent. And the Fredericksburg property, you'll see a Safari Lodge cocktail tent where you can come and have your evening cocktails. We apply for food permits where we can provide food. We bring high quality Wi-Fi, high speed internet into all the parks. You can actually do your business and your job, and if you have to work while you're on the road. And then we've implemented digital booking systems. Our goal is that over time, everything will be connected on a mobile app. We call it the Outdoorsy Destination Network. Everywhere you go in America, where you go, the park will recognize you. It'll know who you are. It'll give you your login for your Wi-Fi, which is always going to be free. It'll know your drink preferences. It'll know your site preferences. You like to be near water. Your wife wants to be away from noise. We'll try to make sure that we give you a more personalized experience by bringing digital innovation to the network. And the goal is 500 properties over time. It'll take a long time to get there, of course, but that's the plan.
You aren't going to have 500 by next year?
No, I'll probably be. I told one of our investors, I said, I will probably be long in the grave before we even hit 200. And one of our investors said, that's okay, Jeff. We're trying to build a legacy generational business here. So your grandkids will have something to talk about.
Well, what's the Outdoorsy operation look like now? You're still headquartered out of Austin?
Still headquartered in Austin. We're operating in 4,800 cities around the world, 11 countries. The company's profitable. It's still growing. We're growing fast. We built an insurance business called Roamly in the business to support the Outdoorsy marketplace. And the Roamly team has done such a good job. We're very tech centric. We have a lot of engineers. Mm-hmm. We came out of Silicon Valley. We've done some things with the Roamly insurance platform that have enabled other businesses to connect to Roamly that don't have anything to do with RVs, hotels. We do have RV dealerships now. Selling Roamly policies right out of the Roamly platform. So at the point of purchase, when you buy an RV, you get a Roamly purchase. Winnebago's come out with a new camper van that has just a refrigerator and a bed. Roamly is the only insurance product that can insure that product. The insurance industry that predominantly made up by the big carriers like Progressive and Geico and State Farm don't have a policy that ensure that. Rumley has a thing called Rumley Green, which insures EVs, the Tesla Cybertruck, the Ford Lightning, and the Rivian vehicle. So that just got up and running. And Rumley is now outgrowing the rest of the company.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have now?
Oh gosh, I always lose count. I want to say 225. Sometime, and then we'll add during the busy season, which we're in, we'll add a lot of contractors to help with customer support. We're deploying a lot of AI tools right now in the form of support, plus a lot of the internal technology stuff that we do. We have a lot of AI based tools that we use for, you used to hear the term machine learning, and now we use AI technology for a lot of the interior work. So we're deploying AI in the area of customer support. Normally, we would hire 150 customer support people during the season, and then we would collapse that down to a smaller group.
So AI doesn't work too well when you've got campgrounds in play, and obviously you got to go out there and find people to run these places. Is that a challenge that you're gearing up for? Are you looking in unusual places for folks?
We have found, because of the Outdoorsy brand, we get almost 4 million customers to our website every month, and the Outdoorsy brand is very popular with young people, typically millennial or Gen Z, that love the outdoors. And many of them want to work for the company. It was one of our first concerns was campground staff.
Yeah. And
our campground staff are wonderful. The people we've been able to bring onto the team, and they're so inspiring. They feel like park rangers when you meet them, like young park rangers that you would meet at Yellowstone. They're passionate about the outdoors, and they're passionate about customers. So we're blessed that we've been able to get this kind of audience to apply for jobs with us.
Yeah.
So far that's been working pretty well.
I know we're getting near the end of the show here. I know you guys hit a couple milestones recently. You surpassed 1 million trips, which I think is like 7 million book travel days is what you mentioned here in June.
Yeah.
You had a release on that. You were recognized as one of the Fast Company's most innovative companies in travel and hospitality for 2023. I guess, when I think of Outdoorsy, I do think of how you guys started an RV rental marketplace. How is the RV rental marketplace nowadays? Has it hit its peak? Is it still growing? Is this something? I mean, when we look at the RV industry, obviously they've slowed down to some degree on the purchasing side. Is the rental marketplace going that way too, or is it still pretty popular?
The rental marketplace is very popular, and we predicted back in 2020 when everybody started buying RVs, the RV purchasing boom took off. I told our board, I said, we're going to have a supply surge in about 2 years because people will use their RVs and they'll do what they want to do, and then they'll realize, wait a minute, I'm not using it as much as I thought I would. I would like to commercialize it. And that's exactly what's happening. We're seeing the early stages of building any marketplace usually is built around the concept of you got a lot of demand and you need to bring supply online. So most marketplaces are supply constrained. And we were like that for many years. We became overwhelmed with the demand from COVID and post-COVID. But now we're starting to see a surge of supply hitting our marketplace because of all the people that bought those RVs. So it's starting to satisfy that overwhelming demand that we've always had. And as such, the marketplace is still growing. It's very healthy. It's profitable. It's a profitable business. We're experiencing double-digit growth. And we're very excited about it. We're also excited about this product that we rolled out called Stays. A lot of our customers would come to us, our guests would say, I'd like to book an RV, but I'd also like to book a cabin or a yurt or a ski lodge or a tiny home, a cabin in the woods. Do you do that too? And, we know that Airbnb was doing that, but that's not what people think of when they go to Airbnb. They think of renting a flat in Manhattan. So we launched a feature called Stays, which enables our hosts to list cabins, yurts, tiny homes, ski lodges. And we started it in California at first, and we've been adding supply into the site. And we'll roll out Colorado next. Colorado's right up, coming up on the rollout schedule for Stays.
Yeah.
And then adding the tents is just kind of, I think, a perfect complement for what people want to do in the outdoors.
Well, I think, we got to wrap up the show here. I would like to mention, I used Outdoorsy to rent an RV in June. It worked. It worked. So That's
Great.
good.
Thanks.
No, I had a
I'm
really
glad.
great experience. It was, it reminds me quite a bit of Airbnb, which I guess is pretty good because I think a lot of people are familiar using Airbnb, and the platform is pretty similar to booking an Airbnb. So it went pretty smoothly. The person I got the RV from was great, and it was a good trip. So, but
I'm glad. Thank you.
yeah,
Glad you're a customer.
I think you guys are doing some really great work. It's been great getting to know you and Jen. It's always great running into you at the different shows I might see you guys at. And I saw the release the other day on the new fund, and it was just great to see how you guys have been growing. So thanks for coming on the show.
Real asset. Yes, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you back here again next week.
Thank you for listening to WCM's Park Update, a production of Woodall's Campground magazine. Join us for a new show each Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn for daily news and updates, and subscribe to our news feed on our website at woodallscm.com. Show hosts are Ben Quiggle and Mike Gast. Executive producers Rick Kessler and Alex Burkett. Copyright 2022, G&G Media Group.